Well, hello and greetings from the Jersey Shore. You know, it's Memorial Day weekend, and typically Memorial Days around here by the ocean is not the best of weather. Sometimes it's really cold and rainy. Other times it's just hot and cloudy. It looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty beautiful Memorial Day weekend, which is rare. And this video is about doing some Memorial Day barbecue. So if you've seen a couple of my videos in the past, you know I really like this pork loin. This isn't tenderloin, this is the center cut pork loin. And there's just so many things you can do with it. I have a roast video in a pressure cooker, the Instapot. But I'm going to cook this on a big green egg, but I'm doing a stuffed pork tenderloin or pork loin. And what's good about this is you could buy these, they're like 2.5 feet long. You can buy them at Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club. They're like $1.69 to $1.99. And if you have a coupon, you could get them for like $1.49 or less. I paid $1.39 a pound for a 14-pound pork loin roast. Okay, $1.39 a pound. That's about as inexpensive protein as you could find. Okay, and there's so much you could do with it. You could cube it, you could turn it into chops, you can ribbon cut it and put it in a stir fry. You could cut it into small strips and pound them flat and turn it into a pork braciole, and just so much you could do. So it's a great buy, and I think pork is the other white meat. I think it rules. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to cut this and fillet this and unroll it like a carpet. Pound it a little flat. I have 2 bags of spinach here. Now it seems like a lot, but you know it all cooks down. I'm going to saute up the spinach with some garlic. The spinach is going to go in there, and then we're going to put on top of that some nice Italian prosciutto, which I got at the Italian deli. Some provolone cheese, and then we're going to roll it up and tie it. I'm going to season it with my own specialty pork roast seasoning that I make, and I'll go into that a little bit later. And then I'm going to stud it with some small spears of Gruyere cheese on the outside, and I'm going to cook this on the big green egg with some maple wood smoke. So wifey's having a couple of girls over for dinner, and I get to do this, but this is a good part. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get the spinach sauteed with some garlic. You don't have to watch that. We all know how to do that. And then we'll get going. So hope to see you soon. Alright. So you just press this out with a spoon or something in your colander, and just let the liquid and stuff drain out. You want this fairly dry. Okay, we'll just set that aside. Okay, now for this part, don't even attempt it unless you have a sharp knife. That's a sharp knife. You want a nice sharp knife, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut this about a ½ an inch up from the cutting board and make small cuts, keeping it level and unrolling this. So imagine like a log peeling or something like that. That's what we have to do here. And it's like a kind of a surgical procedure. You want to probably start at the wide point. And the thing is to keep your knife nice and level, like so. Right? So you make this cut. You see this cut in here? I'm doing this. I'm recovering from shoulder surgery. So it's a little bit cumbersome for me. But I can still get it done. And take your time. Don't rush it. Okay, now you see I got it splayed out there like this. I got some plastic wrap. Now we give it a pounding to flatten it out even further. I mean, this doesn't have to be thin like a braciole, but you want to get a good amount of ingredients in the center. So and don't worry if you have a tear at a seam or something like that. Alright. I can't really do too much with my right hand. I am limited. This also breaks up the fiber in the meat and makes it even more tender. Alright. There we go. Looks like a big piece of salmon now, doesn't it? And of course, before we do anything, throw a little salt. And a little pepper. The first thing I like to put on is my spinach. Oh. You spread this evenly. You see why you need 2 bags of spinach? Spinach cooks down to almost nothing. That's 2 bags of spinach from the grocery store. And sauteed with a little garlic and some minced, finely minced onion. We get this guy pressed in here pretty good. Alright. Evenly coated like that. You know, don't be afraid, some's going to come out. I mean, this is... Alright. Next steps. Our next step, the next step is the provolone and prosciutto. I like to put the provolone on first. Or as the Italians say, I put the cheese on first. Alright. This is sliced semi-sharp provolone. It's not real sharp. Okay, and you got to remember, a lot of this comes out while it's cooking. It melts kind of into the meat. And then we put a prosciutto. Right? Like so. Because prosciutto is good stuff, right? This isn't the best prosciutto money could buy, but it does the trick. Alrighty. Now, what we have to do is roll this up and tie it with some twine. I have some butcher's twine here. So I usually roll this up. You have to be fairly strategic about it. You don't want it too tight, but you don't want it too loose either. That's a pretty thick sandwich. So I would start probably rolling it this way. And when you're rolling, hold with your fingers like so. So you're pushing everything in. Like I said, some stuff will come out. these little gaps and so forth. That's why we put so much into it. Okay? And when we have that, I'm going to tie it up with some butcher's twine, and then we're going to season it. Okay? Alright, now, we get to another step in the prep. I have my homemade dry rub that I make. And so you guys might want to know, this is 1 part light brown sugar, 1 part garlic powder, 1/2 a part chili powder, 1/2 a part black pepper, 1/2 a part kosher salt, and what else have I got in here? 1/2 a part paprika, and a touch of sage. Okay, that's what's in this rub. And what we do with this is we put this all over our meat. I mean, heavily. Okay, because this is going to sit for a little bit. And like the old adage is, just enough is good enough, but more is, too much is better. Okay, and we're doing all sides here, as you can see. Taking it off the board, putting it back on. Alright, we want this well coated. This kind of seasons into the meat. It gives it that first layer of flavor that we're looking for. Now this last process is what I call studding. It's basically cutting slits in and studding. In this case, I have some fine Gruyere cheese. And I put this on what I determined to be the top, because so much of this cheese just melts, and it melts into the meat. If you have it on the bottom, it just drips into the drip pan, and it doesn't really do you any good. So this is what I call studding. And I'm cutting, like I said, a lot of this cheese boils out, but a lot of it boils into the meat. And that makes a fine flavor that you would not believe. Okay, we got the egg stabilized at about 350. It'll come down about 50 degrees after we put our roast on. And I just threw on some maple chunks for some smoke. I got a liquid pan there filled with some water and some white wine and some orange juice. It just adds a little moisture to the cook. And we'll get this thing on and get it going. It's about an hour and a half. So I'm sitting here on this idyllic spring day. It's just beautiful weather. And I'm just downwind of this cooker here, and the aroma of this thing is just like killing me. We're about halfway through this cook now, and that's what she's getting to look like. Well, we got about another, maybe about another half hour or so. 165 in the center. I pull her off. Yeah, man. And here you go. The end of it.
You got to see this home.
Yeah.
She's trying to go for